And now, a special edition of the Toddcast podcast.
What are your plans for the holidays? Hanging out, friends and family, get as many parties in as possible, maybe not wear a mask as much as possible. Personally, I'm going to be laying low. It's just nice to turn everything off, recharge the batteries, and that's what I fully intend to do. There's going to be a lot of snowboarding. We'll make our way up to the mountain, probably Cyprus locally. And our house seems to be the hub of the action in terms of family things for sure. Dinners and drinks, and there'll be a lot of hang time. And we're only going to bang off a couple more podcasts this year, wrap up the year, and then we'll take a bit of a break in the new year and get in some good quality downtime, some family time, again, some snowboarding time. Normally, we're 3 guests per week, the occasional best of podcast. We chuck in a themed podcast here and there as well. This week and next, you can expect 12 guests per week with our year in review podcast. And thank you so much for being there, for the support you've shown us over the year. My name is Todd Hancock. If you like what you're about to hear, please subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube. Tell your friends as well. Word of mouth is a huge way that we get this podcast out there. We see it daily on social media with the sharing, retweeting, commenting, liking, all that. So thank you so much for that. Coming up shortly, in Stop Me If You've Heard This Before, Canadian bluesman David Gogo talking about his Juno Award nominations and the disqualification. Interesting story. That is powered by our friends at Puff. Get 20% off regularly priced accessories, clothing, and apparel with the code TODCAST in-store and online at puff.ca. That said, let's get to some guest highlights and a handful of this year's musical guests, all of whom were brought to you by Pineapple Sound, a recording and mixing studio in Langley since 2013. Bands, check them out. Great rates. Dave and Tyler do fantastic work. And they also welcome podcasts, voiceover actors, and a lot more, whatever you can do in a recording studio. Check them out through pineapplesound.com. You will know AWOL Nation from their massive hit song, Sail. We had their singer Aaron Bruno at the very start of the year. Followed him up with Bad Cop singer Jenny Cotterill, who are an awesome all-girl punk band from California. They're signed with Fat Records. They just released their latest album, The Ride, at the time. Mid-February, the Pretty Reckless singer Taylor Momsen was a guest. They were ready to release their new album at the time, their 4th, called Death by Rock and Roll. Here's Little Cindy Lou Who from The Grinch with Jim Carrey, all grown up and absolutely kicking so much ass with her band with multiple hit songs, North America, the UK, huge world tours. And when Taylor was a guest, she made mention of the Beatles and how you can thank them for the fact that she's a musician.
I grew up in a household where my father is a massive rock and roll fan. Like if you walk into my parents' house, it essentially looks like a rock and roll museum of paraphernalia. So I grew up not being able to get away from rock and roll, even if I wanted to, but luckily I didn't. I fell in love with it. The first band I ever heard was the Beatles, and that's really where I fell in love with music. Like it's, they're the first band I fell in love with, the first band I ever heard. They're the reason I started writing songs in the first place. So that's really where it all kind of stemmed for me. Was the Beatles, but then also, it was my dad's vinyl collection. So it was the Beatles and The Who and Pink Floyd and Led Zeppelin and AC/DC and Bob Dylan and Neil Young and Eric Clapton and Jimi Hendrix. And the list just goes on and on. So it was, I grew up in a household that was very, very fortunate that I got a really, really, the best musical education.
Offspring bassist Todd Morse was a guest in mid-March, but you'll know him from a handful of other projects as well. He started up that punk band H2O with his brother Toby. He's the lead guitarist in Juliet and the Licks. He has a band with a couple of the guys in Sum 41 called the Operation MD, and you'll love the story that Todd shared about his first concert.
Black Flag.
Wow.
And I've talked about this a couple of times too, because there's some people there, but there's a place called The Channel in Boston. It was with Henry Rollins singing. And I'll never forget because the band started and it was, punk rock and hardcore was really dangerous back then. You could really get hurt at a show.
Totally.
And so I was scared, but I was like, where's Henry? And he came crawling out from behind the drum set, no shirt on,
Nice.
like an animal. you know,
Yeah.
and I was like, I'm in. This
Yeah.
is.
And
this
how old
is
were you for
amazing.
that? Like you were like teenager or?
Yeah, I was a teenager. We rented a U-Haul. I was living in Rhode Island. We rented a U-Haul and put chairs in the back of it, and all of us sat in chairs and rode up to the show.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
when we got to the parking lot of the channel, we rolled the thing up, and all the kids had gathered around thinking we were the band. You know?
Yeah. Nice.
It's,
Nice.
you don't forget that stuff.
Shortly after Offspring's bassist was a guest, we had Rob Rufus, the drummer of Blacklist Royals, jump on a Zoom call with us. They were getting ready to release their latest 3-song EP called Doomsday Girl. Next up was Clutch singer Neil Fallon, and this happened from literally, it was just a simple tweet. Hey Neil, big fan of your band. Do you want to be a guest? To which he followed back, still to this day, still follows the podcast. Here's a band. You know how they say, like, don't meet your heroes? Not that Neil is a hero of mine, but you know what I'm saying. Love the band. Been around since the 90s. They were working on their 13th album at the time when we talked. And during our 40-minute conversation, Neil shared a story about having a dinner with Dave Grohl.
I remember, it's just as an unsolicited anecdote. We have a mutual friend, and we went out to dinner with a bunch of other people at a Maryland crab house outside on a river. And we were sitting there eating. About halfway through the meal, you got to mind this crab. When you're eating crabs, you just got guts and flies. It's
You got the bib on and shit?
no bibs. T-shirt. And someone recognized him. And the next thing you know, it's just like a line of people. He has to go to the bathroom. It takes him maybe 45 minutes just to get there. And I say to our mutual friend, how does he tolerate this? And my friend, he's like, well, the minute this stops is the day I worry. You know, he saw it as like, wow, this is, the glass is not only half full, it's overflowing, and to be grateful for it. And he's, I've seen the other approach where it's just, get away from me.
Right.
Maybe he'd be different if he were sitting down with his family.
Yeah, possibly.
I certainly would be if it were too much, but
yeah, I think an average person like me, or people that are listening to this podcast, I think an average person can't even wrap their head around even minor fame.
It's a weird, fame is the thing that's Clutch is not. That wasn't one of the things we were thinking. We just wanted to have fun,
right?
And I wonder, it's like people that are of such a stature, like your Bruce Springsteens or your Paul McCartney's, like when you lose your anonymity, it's gone forever.
Yeah.
And it's a good thing to have, because next thing you know, you have assistants to do everything that you used to do, because you just simply can't do it, or you don't feel comfortable, or
like imagine, any huge Hollywood star going to get groceries.
Yeah, and I'm sure
like, what a nightmare.
Some of them, I'm sure, enjoy it, but that's weird to me. It's like sometimes there's been occasions where I've been someplace like Home Depot or wherever, looking, PVC piping, and then some guy say, "Hey, are you?"
Holy crap, Neil!
It's very jarring. Like you're suddenly wait, am I being watched? It's rare for me. We're talking about Clutch, not the E Street Band.
Right after Clutch's singer was a guest, we had on The Damn Truth, and they just finished recording their latest 6-song album, which was produced at the Warehouse here in Gastown in Vancouver by Bob Rock, a Juno award-winning producer, and 3 Grammy Award winners. Like, it sounds like the start of a joke. Next up was Christine Flaherty, K-Flay, as you will know her. You gotta love her story. Born in 85, grew up just outside of Chicago. Parents split up when she was young. Double majored in psychology and sociology at Stanford University. Heard some music she liked and said, you know what, I bet you I could do that. And the rest, they say, is history. That's the Super Coles Notes version, of course. You'll love how it came to be that she grabbed Rage Against the Machine guitarist Tom Morello to collaborate on a song with her.
Totally. So, I've got a song I've got a song featuring Tom Morello on this next EP, and that relationship again. This is a text-based collaboration. I met Tom because he cold emailed me
No way.
like 4 or 5 years ago. Yeah.
Wow.
And he was like, hey, I heard your song on the radio. My kids and I loved it. Can I call you?
Which song was he talking about?
But he was talking about Blood in the Cut. This was like right when Blood in the Cut came out, was on the radio. And I got the email. I remember I was in Nashville, Tennessee. And we used to, before the show, the live show, play this like, super cut on YouTube of Rage Against the Machine playing South American festivals.
Nice.
And it was just like, like Rage Against the Machine in Brazil in 1996, or just like these insane moments. And it was so surreal to me. But it turned out Tom was working on a solo record, which I featured on. I wrote a song with him for that. And he and I have a lot of commonalities. We're from the same kind of 20 minutes from each other, suburbs of Chicago, and have kind of a lot of parallels, I think, in terms of the way we are. We're pretty like nice, reasonable people, but we make aggressive music. Like, what is that experience like? So there's a real kinship there, and I really respect Tom, and I really look up to him. So I was working on this song and had the demo of it essentially, and we were kind of like, should you ask Tom to play on it? So I should find the text, but I think I just texted him like, hey, I'm working on this song. Would you play on it? And would you like solo and like do your thing? Just like go insane. Do Tom, like full Tom, no holds barred. And he was like, sure. And then a week later, I get the thing and I'm like, oh God, there's that feeling of like, I'm so excited, but oh my God, I'm a little nervous too. Cause like, what if, anyway, he killed it. So there's
musical guests of the Toddcast podcast are powered by Pineapple Sound, providing recording and mixing services for a wide range of artists and genres since 2013. Check them out at pineapplesound.com.
Sometimes I get frustrated, like I'm everywhere, making things a little overcomplicated. Working jobs and paying taxes. Baby, we should be in the sunshine, cold beer, relaxing, keeping it simple on the creek. We'll throw a line at the water, watch the days turn into weeks, smoking that good shit on high. Well, the next say we be losing our minds, but we're just loving by our own design. Out here in the middle, you will find us keeping it simple. Tell your mother that we're leaving. We'll pack the truck full of liquor. It's a holiday every season. Crack the windows and crank the Wayland, 'cause you're a good-hearted woman and a paradise is awaiting. Keeping it simple on the creek. We'll throw a line at the water once the days turn into weeks. Smoking that good shit on high. Well, the next say we be losing our minds, but we're just loving by our own design. Out here in the middle, you will find us keeping it simple. Give it simple now. That's right. And when we get bored or lonesome, we'll throw a sign at the closet so our friends can come and join. We'll just be keeping it simple on the creek. We'll throw a line at the water once a day, starting the week. Oh, smoking that good shit on high. Well, the nurse say we've been losing our minds, but we're just loving our own design. Out here in the middle, you will find us keeping it simple. Out here in the middle, you will find us keeping it simple.
Red Truck Beer, delivered fresh, the official beer of the Toddcast podcast. And now, stop me if you've heard this before on the Toddcast podcast.
David Gogo has been playing the guitar since the age of 5. At 15, he met Stevie Ray Vaughan at the Royal Theatre in Victoria and was, as you might expect, encouraged to play the blues. By 16, he was getting regular work. And then David formed the Persuaders, who opened up for some incredible bands. Johnny Winter, Buddy Guy, Albert Brooks. Without question, David Gogo is one of Canada's best bluesmen. A Maple Blues Award winner, Juno-nominated albums, Western Canadian Music Awards nominated albums. And when he was a guest, we talked about how he's a big Habs fan, how he saw Johnny Cash in concert at 9 years old. We got into aliens and legalized weed, playing on stage with B.B. King. He shared a near-death story. We talked Elvis, the Beatles, Taj Mahal. And stop me if you've heard this before. David talked about being nominated for Juno Awards over the years and explained what happened with that disqualification as well.
Well, it's so crazy. I mean, and the 5 losses, could you imagine sitting there 5 different times and having to clap your hands and pretend you're not pissed off?
Yeah.
The disqualification was just some silly technicality, and but we kind of turned it around. We did the spin doctor thing and just got the most publicity we could out of it because,
Sure.
you know, they told us we were nominated, so we turned around and, you know, we book a showcase, we book our plane tickets. It was in Edmonton that year. And then we're told, oh, no, actually you're not nominated. So we tried to make the best out of it, and at the time we did so well with the spin doctor maneuver, I thought, oh, God, I'll never be nominated again, but I have like probably 3 times since, so maybe they're just doing that to torture me. I don't know.
Right. It must feel good just to get the nomination in general, though, right?
Well, absolutely. You know,
Sure.
because you know when you've been at it for as long as I have, it validates things. You know, and it makes you feel like, yeah, I'm still achieving things and I'm still being recognized.
Yeah.
And you know, and you know, my first nomination was probably in '94, and the last one was probably about 4 years ago. So you think, at least I know where all the good parties are.
Right. You stretched 30 years of nominations, man. That's pretty impressive.
It's crazy.
It's pretty impressive, yeah.
Stop me if you've heard this before on the Toddcast podcast is brought to you by Puff, purveyors of quality cannabis accessories since 1995. Use promo code TODCAST and get 20% off regularly priced accessories and apparel in-store and online at puffpipes.ca.
This concrete will break my fall. After every bottle I show hits the wall. Another wasted night. Or does it always end up with no friends inside? So make your way to the water. Wait inside. Escape the storm that's raging within your mind.
willing to bet you that they made my top 20 most played bands of 2021. They are Poor Sport from Nanaimo. If you remember a band we used to play a ton called No Liars. Well, they broke up and Poor Sport came out of that. Played you Kyle McCurney. That was his song called Keeping It Simple. Now, Kyle's been a buddy for a long, long time. In fact, the music that you hear in our regular weekly podcasts at the very beginning, in fact, at the end of this one, that's Kyle in a band that he fronted back in the day of like 10 years back called Hard Honey. You'll actually hear Kyle as the musical guest in the first part of 2022. We're looking forward to hanging out and kind of getting caught up in his world. Coming up in just a few minutes, listen to this. IFBB Pro Monica Brandt talking about what you should be looking for in a personal trainer. 'Tis the season to be eating whatever the hell you want. Maybe a personal trainer in the new year is not a bad resolution. That is powered by Tedco RV Supplies in Langley, RV Service and Repair, ICBC accredited. Find them on Facebook and on Twitter at Tedco RV Supplies. First, back to more guest highlights in this year in review and some of our sporting guests of 2021. That's now powered by Cap at Chilliwack, providing the best quality products and services for you and your truck. Talking Thule's, tonneau covers, rooftop tents, camping chairs, step bars, floor liners, and a bunch more. You can find them online at facebook.com/Chilliwack Capit. Now, as a longtime fan of the Vancouver Canucks, it was pretty cool to grab retired goaltender Eddie Lack, who you'll know from also playing with the Hurricanes, the Flames, the Devils. He signed with the Canucks in 2010, then played with the Moose. Eventually, he played with the Canucks in 2013-2014, backing up at the time Roberto Luongo. You'll love hearing him talk about playing against Ovechkin, arguably one of the best to ever play the game. Certainly he's top 5, top 10 without a doubt, and how difficult and deceptive a player that Ovi is.
For an opponent, I have to say Ovi, like the greatest goal scorer of our time, right? Like
Totally.
So I remember the first time that we were playing Ovi, and we had like a 30-40 minute PK meeting about like how we're gonna stop him on their power play, right? And the plan was to put a guy on him the entire time, and we were gonna play 4-on-3 in the rest in the zone and like just not give him the puck, right?
Right.
So like the entire meeting was about that, and he scored 2 goals both on the power play in the first period from like his exact spot, and I was like, yeah, this didn't really go as planned.
Oh my God. Some people think that he might be able to catch Gretzky's scoring, or at least the goals, obviously. Not the overall, but that can't happen though, right? Like he's still 100 and something away, isn't he?
Yeah, but COVID really put like that kind of derailed those plans, I think, a little bit, because now it's just going to be like a 40-game season.
Short season, and yeah,
he's like probably going to get 20 goals, right? So, but yeah, he's going to really have to keep his like pace up for another 3 or 4 years to have a shot, right?
Right, at least.
Yeah.
Shortly after Eddie Lack was a guest, we had on longtime sports broadcaster James Cebulski, who at the time was part of the starting lineup on Sportsnet 650 here in Vancouver. He lost the gig a few months after his visit. Amazing that guys like that need to worry about losing their jobs in radio. It's a mind blower. Here's like a Gemini Award nomination for the best sports reporting for the 2010 Olympics. He didn't win. The following year, he won the Gemini Award for Best Sports Feature for his story about the relationship between Terry Fox and Jay Triano. We love Cebulski. He's been a buddy of ours for decades. After C-Ball was our resident fitness guru, Jessica Kiernan. Every couple of years, we seem to grab Jessica to talk about fitness and nutrition and pretty much whatever else comes up. Like, what's her 5-year game plan? You gotta love her reply. I think we can all relate in one form or another.
Oh gosh, I don't know. I don't like to plan like that. So I definitely don't ever think about that. I would just hope that I'm still doing what I love, whatever that's going to be. It could be fitness. It could be something entirely different. As long as I'm in a good place with myself, I'm happy. That's all. That's honestly what matters to me.
Yeah, it's tricky to look far in advance and kind of.
It's too hard. I just don't have that expectation of myself. I think once I've put that on me, it's too much stress. I do have a vision, but I don't want to have something so mapped out and be, so obsessed with it. I'd rather just kind of go with the flow, still attack the goals I want to attack, and then see where that lands me.
Mm-hmm. What's the rest of this year looking like? You must have that kind of mapped out.
I don't know. I really don't know. I just hope everything works out great.
I love it. I'm the same way. Like, I know maybe 2-3 months in advance for my podcast, but that's it.
Right.
Like, everything else, like, I don't know. Fuck, I don't know.
But life stuff, it's like, I have no idea. Yeah. I mean, I really don't know. I hope it's all going to be awesome and fun and a lot of love and, just that's what I would like.
There's no doubt in my mind that you'll know Sean Avery from playing in the NHL for those 12 seasons. Signed with the Red Wings as a free agent in 1999, played with the Kings as well, the Stars, the Rangers, finished his NHL career with 90 goals, 247 points, 1,533 penalty minutes in 580 games. Wow. And talked about playing for the New York Rangers and the 2002 Red Wings and how they were both very special teams.
I think it's definitely New York, but also Detroit was pretty special because one, that team in 2002, I think was probably maybe the best NHL team ever assembled, just from a pure talent standpoint. 12 or 13 Hall of Famers, guys like, Dominic Hasek, like interesting guys that was a hell of a team. And then I was so young to be introduced to the league in that fashion, just from the pace of practices and how the guys dressed and how they talked and everything. It was pretty special. And then obviously I think when I got to New York, that was sort of what felt home from a playing standpoint. I think my style kind of meshed with the fans of New York. And so, I think I'd say it was a toss up between those two cities.
And just playing in the rink in New York must have been just like electric every time, man.
Yeah. I mean, that's, before they did the renovation, I think it was definitely the best arena in the league. I think now it's still, it's Madison Square Garden. I think even on a Monday night at MSG, you walk in that place and you can feel it has a special vibe to it. That's for sure.
Right after Sean Avery was a guest, we grabbed Bellator MMA fighter Denise Kielholtz for a quick Zoom, where she talked about almost not even continuing with MMA after her initial first loss, because prior to MMA, she'd been concentrating on kickboxing since 2004, so she almost went that route again. Next up was color commentator for the Vancouver Warriors of the NLL, who talked about how their last season had been canceled due to COVID, and surprised most when talking about collecting ball caps and hockey cards as a kid. And what's this about Wayne Gretzky?
Collect as a kid, hats, still collect hats. I like dozens and dozens of baseball hats of, from lots of different sports, trucker hats, ball caps, hockey cards were always a big thing. I'm sitting in my garage right now. One of these totes is filled with hockey cards that I don't know if my kids will have anything to do with one day, but for some reason I can't can't get rid of them. And then, CDs and records, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you put those, the cards in the spokes?
Oh yeah. I got it. Yeah.
Gretzky rookie, rack.
Yeah. Trading with kids. And I remember, trading all my Gretzkys. I was a Gretzky hater for some reason. Oh, really? And I went to I traded all my Gretzkys for all Eric Lindros cards from a neighbor of mine who absolutely fleeced me back in the day. But I don't know, wow. Gretzky just wasn't into Gretzky. And I think.
Was it just that he was just too good?
He was like, I think by the time I got into Gretzky, I didn't realize he was so good. It was like tapering down Gretzky, and I knew of the legends, but I'm like, okay, what do I need this New York Rangers Gretzky card for when I could flip it for a Eric Lindros card, who was like the biggest deal at the time.
Right.
But not a great idea looking back.
After Brad Challoner was a guest, Rebecca Louise jumped on a Zoom with us, who you'll know from her work as a global fitness influencer. She's the best-selling author of It Takes Grit. She's the founder of the BTES fitness app. And to get us to the midpoint of the year was Muay Thai fighter Eva Schultz, who fights out of Denmark. She signed with Iron Shin in Las Vegas. She is tough as nails. Without tooting our horn too much, it was a pretty good year for sports guests.
Toddcast sporting guest visits are powered by Capit Chilliwack, providing the best quality products and services for you and your truck. Online at facebook.com/ChilliwackCapit.
Toddcast podcast is powered by Milano Coffee, bringing you the finest espresso and coffee concepts in the world. Online at milanocoffee.ca. And now, listen to this on the Toddcast podcast.
Chances are you would recognize Monica Brandt, even if you think you don't know who that is. She's a retired IFBB pro figure competitor. She's been on the cover of over 100 international fitness magazines. Her time in the industry dates back to the 90s. She won Miss Fitness Olympia in 1998, retiring in 2013 after her first place win at the 2013 WBFF World Pro Figure Championships. You could, and you should, call her an icon in the fitness industry. And when Monica was a guest, we got into a lot of things. As you might expect, food and nutrition came up. So did Tiger King, remember that show? Aliens and UFOs, going to church, seeing George Strait in concert. We talked Star Wars, Star Trek, the term bad calories, binging American Idol. And Monica talked about what you should look for in a personal trainer. Listen to this.
I suggest somebody that's, number one, if you, we'll go back to, it depends on the person as far as, I think, what their level of what their degree of fitness is and what they're trying to do. Mm-hmm. Let's say, for me, if I'm going to get back on stage, I've been in as a professional fitness person. I turned professional in 1995, and I have competed at world level competitions, in physique competitions as well as track. And so for me, I have got to find someone that can really, really push me, and I could find someone that lives across the world and still get great workouts because I know enough about form. I'm dedicated. Like if I found a coach that was in Australia, I could work with that person easily because I can go and do a lot on my own as long as I have a good program of someone who I respect. Now let's take someone that is brand new, that's never worked out, that doesn't know about exercise, that doesn't know how to do proper form, that maybe is intimidated in the gym setting, then that person is going to need to find someone that they can really relate to, and they may need to have gender specific. For me, I could, I've had a few female trainers, but like two. In my whole career, I usually work with men, and only because it just seems to be what's fit for me best. I've had a couple female trainers that have done a really good job for me, but primarily I've worked with men. Now, you take someone that's brand new trying to feel comfortable in their own skin in a gym setting, they may need to stick with a female, speaking if it's a female. So I think, those kind of things, it depends on where the person is in their fitness journey, how they are inspired, and I think, how much they know. They might need to find someone that's gender specific. Maybe it's a smaller gym setting. Maybe it's a personal training setting where they're the only ones in the gym at the time. And then, someone that they can learn from that is dedicated, that is motivating, and that they can learn from, not just how, I'm somebody, if I'm going to coach someone, I want to be coaching, I don't want to be counting.
Listen to This on the Toddcast podcast is brought to you by Tedco RV Supplies in Langley, an ICBC-approved repair shop. Find them online at TedcoRVSuppliesInc.com.
Tell you what, I am absolutely loving the latest offerings from that band. They are called Spendo and Fighter, which you'll also hear in regular rotation on BCIT's campus radio station as well. Evolution 107.9 FM if you're driving around Vancouver. The guys teamed up with local producer Danny Craig to bang out some great tracks. Danny, you'll know, by the way, from drumming with Default. Nice work all around, boys. You heard Collision Course. Their song was called Run. Looking forward to catching these guys live. They threw us a few songs over the year, and all of them were solid. So it's the live show is next. Based on the tunes, you got to think they will absolutely bring it. Speaking of live music, 'tis the season to see live shows. If you're playing a show, maybe you're going to check one out. If it's indie, let us know about it. We will post it at the indie scene at toddhancock.ca. That is brought to you by Mystic Rhythms Rehearsal Studios, 40 plus years experience in the music industry. Pro jam spaces, reasonable rates, good people, longtime podcast supporters. Check them out through mysticrhythms.ca.
Nude Vodka Soda powers the Toddcast podcast. Sugar and sweetener free with just 100 calories and 0 carbs per serving. Visit them online at nudebeverages.com.
And how amazing is it that Nude Vodka Soda donates a portion of all their sales to local SPCAs across the continent? It's pretty cool, right? Okay, our final guests of episode 262, this year in review podcast. 4 of this year's entertainment guests, all of whom are brought to you by Sacred Meds, the best craft cannabis and psilocybin dispensary in Canada. You can also get hash, CBD oil, bath bombs, shatter, edibles. It's amazing. It really is a great site. Use the code TODCAST at checkout for 10% off your entire order. Check them out through sacredmeds.com. At the start of the year, we managed to talk former Much Music VJ Erica M into being a guest.
My uncle, my mother's brother, was a music freak. So driving up to camp was one thing, but while we were at camp where my uncle kind of lived, he always had sort of a bevy of teenagers with him. And so there was always music of the time. So I was into like the Stones and the Beatles and even Elvis Presley. They used to play that a lot at camp, and the Who and Led Zeppelin. And, you know, so I was hanging out with kids that were older than me, and my uncle was obsessed with music. So I remember when I was 5, I was listening to the Monkees with him, like Stepping Stone and stuff. Like I've always been around it.
Yeah, same.
So music has always been a big part of my life. And I'm not musically inclined. So all I wanted to do was be around the people who can make the music.
Shortly after Erica M was on the podcast, model Katie Kearney agreed to be a guest, and then she blocked us for promoting the episode too much on social media. I'm not even kidding you. I wish I was. After that debacle, This is Van Color podcast host Mo Amir was a guest, likely the podcast here in Vancouver. He's become a beast, a juggernaut, a behemoth. You can now see him Sunday nights, 7 p.m. PST on Czech TV. Next up was Naked News host Marina Valmont, and her visit was our most played on YouTube this year by a freaking landslide. I think it's been played close to 200,000 times now. She's cool. She has a very big following. She's huge into cosplay. Talked to her about the WandaVision series and how she was excited for Loki, which obviously hadn't been released when we talked.
I have Netflix, Amazon Prime, HBO, and I have Disney Plus.
Wow.
I'm obsessed with WandaVision.
So
favorite show. So
you know,
good.
I read, was it this morning or last night, that that so many people jumped on to see the finale that it crashed Disney Plus's server.
Isn't that crazy?
That's impressive. That's a ton of people because they're ready for that, right? They're not messing around. They're ready, and it still crashed their server.
Disney is so intelligent. I love how they put it out like one episode at a time. You had to join the platform to continue to be part of like the MCU.
Yeah.
And like without joining Disney Plus, you're really left out of like a big part of the storyline.
Yeah, big time. And with the streaming, it almost makes it feel like, I don't know how old you are, but I'm 47. So when you're streaming things, It's one thing you binge through the whole, season, but it almost feels like when I was a kid. Where
The weekly
like you don't
sitcoms.
no more episode than just, and same thing for like the Mandalorian, where they just released that one episode, and it made me feel nostalgic a little bit. It made my kids like, what the hell is going on? Where I was just like, yeah, this is just the way it was. There was a point where you almost like, if you didn't watch TV, there was no PVR. If you missed an episode of Cheers, you missed an episode of Cheers.
And I think it makes you into more of a devoted fan, because you're set to go there Friday nights, whatever time it comes out, you're like there. I always wait to like have dinner and eat it. And now I'm like, what do I do with my Friday nights? There's no WandaVision. Can you hurry up with Loki, please?
I think it was in early April that you heard a longtime friend of the podcast, longtime Canadian broadcaster, Lachlan Cross was a guest. You can hear Locke doing mornings on Cruise FM in Edmonton. I think it was the week after that we had on actor Chris Calhoun, who you would know from being a DJ on Z95 in Vancouver back in the day. It was the early 2000s. Eventually, Chris moved to LA to pursue his dream, acting, voiceover acting. At the time we talked, he was working on a movie called Obscura, where he plays the role of Phoenix, and he recently landed a role in Days of Our Lives. Listen to his take on director Martin Scorsese saying that superhero movies weren't cinema.
If they wanted to book me for one of those,
you'd be like, I'm in.
Superhero universe things, like, I'm not going to say no.
Yeah.
It's great money. It's great fun, but
Like, what do you think his point was? Was it just the fact that there's just too much CGI, or like, or what is it? I didn't get the comment.
I think he's really into performance, like look at what he gets out of De Niro, and they've collaborated for years. And even newer actors, he took on DiCaprio and started working with him for some stuff. And I guess to him, it's not real acting. Like, you still have to act, but I think it just got away from the true theatrical acting performance. I don't want to say performance, because you don't want to perform. You want to try to be as true as you can on stuff, when you're doing a role. In a way, I kind of agree with him. Yeah, it's candy. It's candy floss. It's like,
it's definitely eye
candy. Yeah, and they make bazillion amounts of dollars, like they're doing something right.
Yeah. What is
DiCaprio? There's a market for it. Like, people are going to those, and making them, $1 billion. And
after Chris Calhoun, in early May, you heard artist, teacher, and musician Chris Machete jump on as a guest. He's a good shit. Check out his website, hmmusicpro.ca. It was in late May that keynote speaker Mandy Gill jumped on a Zoom to share her story. This is from working in radio in Vancouver at Virgin Radio, Global TV, Shaw TV, KVOS TV, to speaking for companies about healthy workplaces. She has her own Mandy Gill app, workout programs, one-on-one coaching, and beyond her story, Mandy talked about COVID and how it affected her business, and how it's been a year or more that's just been fueled by fear.
There was a moment last night that really hit me, and I think business has picked up. In full transparency, business has really started to pick up. I would say ever since January, I saw a huge shift. Now, you and I talk about our experiences together 13 years ago, over a decade ago. And so my whole background came from the broadcasting side, and going from the Fox over to the Beat, which is now Virgin Radio, morning and afternoon show co-hosting. And then 2012, I actually decided to start my own business and started contracting myself out. CTV at the time, I was sponsored by Reebok. They really helped me in that. And basically I started to, contract myself out to all these different stations, and then being TV stations as a majority in different magazine outlets and whatnot, and working heavily through that. And then 2 years ago, I started to see a niche for bringing in healthy habit practices within corporate workplaces, which you and I can probably have a good chuckle about from time to time from our good old history. And I probably did not fall into that category very well at the time that we're talking of.
Yeah.
But I mean, we live and we learn and we know and we become more in tune with ourselves. And so I'm actually sitting here on this podcast with you after I just got down from the grind. It opened yesterday, the gross grind. And I'm like, oh, I got to tackle that. You know, that's the second day of the year it's open, and it's a huge passion of mine. So now when we talk about when the pandemic hit, I'd actually started to get into the corporate workspace of working with a ton of different companies. So I had just started keynote speaking, and I had my first gig was lined up for March, and I was actually in Arizona when the pandemic hit. And all I remember was it was this ripple effect, Todd, and it was like, canceled. And everybody was in fear, right? Which is obvious. Now, what was interesting about that is that, so now I'm represented since last August by the National Speakers Bureau. And they help me to, get out to different companies and create an even more solid foundation. But at that time, I was creating my own contracts. So therefore, I never in one of my contracts stated the deposit is for, how do I put it this way? Anything other than the fact that you will, not get it back if we don't reschedule or anything like that. I had none of that stated. It was all things that I created on my own. So not only was I reimbursing the second payments, I was reimbursing the first payments. And I think last year was fueled with a lot of fear.
Toddcast Podcast entertainment guest visits are powered by Sacred Meds, the best cannabis and psilocybin dispensary in Canada. Available online at sacredmeds.com. Use promo code TODCAST at checkout for 10% off everything in store.
Until the sunrise, feeling traces of the bass racing up my
mean, that's just a fun song for those guys, isn't it? They're called Disco Funeral Bungie, and they played a podcast show for us right before COVID. That was a very fun night. If you hear of them playing anywhere near you, go check it out. You could say it's Santa approved.
Your best way to hit the slopes this winter is with the Cypress Mountain Sky Card. Visit cypressmountain.com for details.
Speaking of, hope you have a Merry Christmas. You get spoiled rotten, because we're going to wrap this one up. Part 1 of our year in review, episode 262. My name is Todd Hancock. Thank you so much for hanging out and listening. If you like what you heard, again, please tell your friends. Subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube as well. Comment and rate the podcast. It helps out with search results. Search it out through Toddcast Podcast. Huge thanks to all of our awesome sponsors. You can find links to all sponsor websites at toddhancock.ca. If you'd like to sponsor the podcast, you can for as little as $10 a day. Contact info is at the homepage. Maybe we'll have a beer, have a coffee, see what's up. And if you'd like to help us find a sponsor, we'll give you a commission based on the ad buy. Keep that in mind. If you know a business that gets outside of the box advertising, lots of social media love, let them know about us and we'll take it from there. Till next week, don't be an asshole. Nobody wants to be around that. Have fun, play hard, and most of all, believe in yourself.
The Toddcast Podcast. Keep in touch with Todd through Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and bookmark toddhancock.ca.
Goodbye, Kyle.
Did the sound of those words call to you like Pavlov's dog? Then you might enjoy our podcast, Turtle Time.
Every week, you can join me, Riley Hamilton, and my co-host, Amy Scarlotta, as we cover the most pressing Bravo news and dig into the new episodes to answer important questions like, who the hell is Adrian Malouf in this world?
Listen to Turtle Time on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. New episodes every Wednesday and Friday.
For 8 years, we've been asking the same question over and over again. How did this happen? My name's Mandy.
And I'm Melissa, and we're the hosts of Moms and Mysteries, the true crime podcast with over 55 million downloads.
We're 2 Florida moms who are obsessed with mysteries. Each week, we do deep dives into fascinating true crime stories.
We cover everything from infamous cases like Casey Anthony
to the bizarre and complex crimes right here in our home state, like the shocking murder of FSU professor Dan Markell.
We bring you the facts, but with warmth and wit you'd only get from 2 friends who have been hooked on mysteries since childhood.
Join us for new episodes of Moms and Mysteries every Tuesday and Thursday.
Listen to Moms and Mysteries on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast.
Now, before you go hunting for something else to listen to, let me make it easy. I'm Mike Carruthers, host of a podcast called Something You Should Know, and I speak with experts about fascinating things that affect your life, from human behavior, relationships, health, science, and everyday mysteries. We've been downloaded millions of times because every episode teaches you something you'll be talking about later. Open up Something You Should Know and give it 1 episode. You might just find your new favorite podcast.